Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to check out the Surge Kit. Now, what this is an ultrasonic vaping device. If you remember about 3 years ago, I reviewed a couple products from Ultrasonic. I'm not sure if if they're now shortening it to Ultrasonic, if this is the brand that designed this, but it's the same type of technology, just 3 years ahead, right? And it definitely does work a little better than those products that I tried 3 years ago. So, powered by Ultrasonic, it's manufactured by Nicotine. It is a pre-filled pod system with some really cool technology, and I'm hoping we see it in refillable systems as well. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So inside, you will have this little information card, and that's worth checking out real quick. Basically, how this works is it's a disc where the liquid, sits on it, and when it vibrates, it vaporizes it. It's a different type of vaporization, but it vaporizes it. It vibrates at 3 million times per second. And, it's supposed to have smaller particles. The vapor will have smaller particles because of it. So no coil or anything like that here. So you'll, of course, get your device, this little user guide, one pre-filled pod, and a USB-C charging cable. Okay, so this device has a built-in 700 milliamp hour battery, USB-C charging, and it charges in 30 minutes, which is pretty damn nice. You got a little design right there, and that's also your light indicator. That will go from white to red, depending on where your battery is at. Under 20%, it goes to red. It says Surge right there. Nothing on the bottom except for some battery venting. And there's that side. This one's like a gradient color, as you can see, basically like going from silver to purple. Nicely made out of aluminum, feels good in the hand. It's got a little bit of contouring. I dig it. There's what the inside looks like. You got magnets, 2 contacts, and a draw activation tube. And let's go ahead and open up a pod here. Whoops, sorry, hit the camera. I've been doing that lately. So you will have one of these little plugs in the mouthpiece. It came out when I was opening it up. And then you're gonna have this bottom cap here you're gonna wanna pull off. And there it is. So this is the Polar Mint in 18 milligram. It says Ultrasonic right there. Surge on that side, 1.8 ml capacity. And there is no ohm load or anything because there's no coil inside here. Just a little vibrating disc that, makes your liquid turn into vapor. Pretty interesting. There is your mouthpiece. I actually really like the shape of this mouthpiece. It's, fairly wide down here, but it narrows quite a bit and it's contoured, very comfortable. Now this will go in either way. So it can go in this way or this way, all right? And it is held in by magnets. Those magnets could be a little bit stronger, but, I don't think you're gonna have any issues where your pod falls out on its own. And that's basically it. All the magic is really inside. And, it's interesting magic for sure, and I will show you when we go back up top and vape it. Let's check out some comparisons. So there it is in the hand. Here is the Caliburn G2. Okay, close to the same size, also close to the same battery, so to be expected. Here is a Juul. Obviously a lot smaller, but the pods hold less liquid and the battery's only about half the size. And here's the one I've been using. Really dig this green, kind of an army green or olive or something. All right, guys, that is it for the up close. Let's go ahead, go up top, vape these, and talk about them a little more. All right, here we are. So even if you're not interested in pre-filled pods, a video like this should still be kind of interesting to you because it's a newer technology. Well, we saw it first about 3 years ago, but it's kind of like they went back to the drawing board and refined it, and it's quite a bit better than those, first gen devices. And I think I said back then, like, this seems really promising. I'm interested to see, where it's going to go in the future. And so we're starting to see it. We hadn't seen anything for a couple of years, maybe because of COVID and stuff like that. But now we have a new ultrasonic vaping device, and hopefully we'll see some refillable ones as well. So I'm going to vape it. Remember, 18 milligram nicotine in here. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's salt or not, but it's got a pretty heavy throat hit. So I'm not sure, but I might just be getting that throat hit from the mint as well. So here we go. This flavor right here is their Polar Mint. Let's vape it. Very, very nice. Okay, so something that I found with these is that when you first try out a fresh pod, the first couple vapes aren't that great. You're not getting a lot of vapor from it. You're kind of learning how to suck it, you know, but it kind of takes a little bit of break-in period. Not much, like, you know, I would say 5 vapes total, but there's a little bit of a break-in period to it. Now that this thing's up and working, it works really well. Plenty of vapor, really nice throat hit. It's on the cooler side, which is to be expected because there's no heating element in here. There's a, you know, vibrating disc. Is it a nebulizer? Tell me if that's what some people call it. I forget. Tell me in the comments. But anyway, it's not as warm, but it is very flavorful. It's more flavorful than like a cool vape with a coil would be, if that makes sense. Okay, so now this one right here has the, what do they call this? Watermelon ice. Let's go ahead and vape that. Yeah, see, this is a newer pod. I just put this on here. Starting to get more and more vapor from it, which is what I experienced with the other pod I've been using as well. So definitely the best ultrasonic device that I have tried. The flavors are very minty. Even the watermelon ice, there's quite a bit of cooling in there. So if you could see my eyes watering, that's why. But, you know, so you gotta like minty flavors. So we could count that as a con. I wish the flavors had a little bit less cooling in them, but everybody's different. If you like minty flavors, it might be up your alley. But as, you know, a device itself, it's very, very usable and would replace a lot of pod systems. It works really freaking well. You get a really nice throat hit. The flavor's good. Just keep in mind the vapor's not going to be as warm as, you know, some of the coil vapes that you might be used to. I definitely think that this technology is promising, and this is one of the most usable so far, you know, out of all the devices I've tried, 3 with ultrasonic technology. I don't really know what else to say as far as cons other than the flavors being too minty. You know, it is what it is. It's a simple pod system with some really interesting tech inside. And I think it works really freaking well. So I'm going to give that a massive pro. Now, they said that, you know, the flavors that they made for these, you got like, you know, watermelon ice, polar mint, there's green mint, rich tobacco, smooth tobacco. I think there's also like a blueberry ice or something as well that I don't have. Anyway, they said that the flavors were made for this device, specially made. So I'm not sure what the viscosity is, but I would love to see a refillable version of this because, you know, I don't think that the thickness is going to matter all that much with this type of technology. And they could always just say, hey, don't use more than a 60 VG or a 70 VG in it. Because I would use that. I would definitely use a refillable version of this device because the performance on it is quite nice and the flavor's fantastic. It's a little bit of a different experience because you're not heating up a coil. You know, it's, like I said, it's cooler vapor, but more flavorful vapor compared to other cooler vapor that you would get from a regular, you know, conventional coil. They say that the particles are smaller and finer than what you would see on a coil, you know, vaporizer. Just a little bit different scientific process. And obviously you don't have to worry about things like dry burns and things like that if your device goes empty and you didn't notice it. Also, I want to compare it to a Juul here. This is a Juul with the menthol. Here's this device. Actually, let's use the one with mint since I'm using mint here. This definitely has a little bit looser draw, a lot more vapor, you know, and more flavor in my opinion. It's a better performer, which is to be expected because the Juul's, you know, getting old and a lot of the newer gen stuff is better. But, you know, just as far as total vaping experience out of these two, this wins hands down. So all in all, I am very, very impressed with this, and I'm hoping this means we're going to start seeing more and more devices with this kind of technology in it. Now, do I think that this, you know, vibrating disc would work good for all kinds of vaping gear? Probably not. It probably wouldn't be the best for like direct lung stuff and things of that nature. But for mouth to lung, a device like this, I think it works great. As far as the draw goes on these pods, I would call it a looser, on the looser side of MTL, kind of like the Caliburn A2. So yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. And if you like pre-filled pod systems, I definitely think it's worth trying out. Just keep in mind, you know, you might have a little bit of a learning curve with it. When you first get the pod, the first couple puffs don't have a lot of vapor, and it takes a couple vapes to kind of figure it out, figure out the best suction methods, and to get the thing primed and working the way it should. So I think that's it, guys. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mod.